Hi guys, this is Stormouse03. Welcome back to my Dishonored Death of the Outsider 100% walkthrough. This is mission number 4, the Stolen Archive. And in this walkthrough, I'm going to be showing you how to get all of the achievements or trophies on this game. This is playthrough 1 of 2. And I'm going to be showing you how to do the majority of the stuff in this first playthrough, and then the second playthrough will just be for original game plus mode. And I'm going to show you how to do everything without being detected on both playthroughs, so either one is good for Shadow. So here we go. This is the beginning of this mission, and for one of the contracts on this mission, you're going to need to kill all of the guards and ladies, basically all of the people on this level, all of the enemies on this level, except for one guy. And that guy we're going to knock out and put in some sort of torture chair. So we don't have to worry about the guy we're going to knock out yet. That's toward the end of the mission. So these first guys, you're going to want to just make sure that you kill. So as before, the easiest way to kind of get the lay of the land is to use your foresight. Mark people. That way you know where they're looking, where they're going. You can see them through the walls. And just take the opportune moment to go and pick them off. So this second guy is going to walk over this way and turn his back, and we're going to go and kill him. And so you'll see me start to do this here in a second, but I noticed on this playthrough that it was a little bit finicky, the assassination, and I don't know whether that's because you're using a different weapon, that this weapon has that void strike on it, and so the detection on it's a little bit finicky, but I noticed that it could be, so I start knocking people out instead of just killing them, and I would say that's your safest way to go. So you'll see that here in just a second, but talking to that lady, you don't really have to talk to her, I don't think, but it's a little mini side quest thing that you can do. So she instructs you to go up and find her husband, and there's going to be 3 guards up here that you're going to need to kill. And so you don't want to forget about these 3. They're kind of out of the way of the main path. And so you want to make sure that you kill them in order to fulfill the contract that we're going to pick up here in a minute. So I would recommend making a save if you're trying to do this without getting spotted like I am, because it can get a little bit hairy. And so I'm going to use my foresight to mark these 3 guys. They should all have their backs turned toward you. So that's pretty good. And then I would suggest you use ranged explosives or traps. And so you can set some hook mines down, you can set some spring razors down if you have them. At this point, all I had was a hook mine, a couple of sticky grenades, and a regular grenade. And so, you know, use what you have. If you're going to use the hook mines, make them lethal, or else you're just going to have to come back and kill the person, so you might as well make them lethal to start with. So I put a hook mine down, and then I tossed a grenade right at the corner of that door. Kind of bounced off the wall, and I got all 3 of those guys with that one grenade. So I don't have any upgrades on my grenades, no bone charms that are making the grenades more powerful. So it is definitely possible to get all 3 of those guys with 1 explosive, which is pretty nice. However, setting a hook mine or a spring razor or something like that won't hurt, just in case you don't get everybody. So there's all 3 bodies. I see that I've killed them all, and We're going to go up and do a little bit of looting and complete the little side quest thing. You get to pick up some stuff off of the husband who, spoilers, is dead. And you can't save him. So don't worry about it. And then you can give that back to the lady and whatever. So I'm just going to show you how to complete this little quest. There's some coins in here. I think there's a bone charm and whatnot. So now is a good time to reiterate what the people who have been watching this guide all the way through have heard 1,000 times, and that's that I'm not using any bone charms other than the agility one that increases your jump height. And even that one isn't 100% necessary. The only reason that I'm using that one is that I believe that's a guaranteed drop in the first level that you can get from the same place every time, which I showed in the mission 1 walkthrough. And the others, I feel like the black bone charms, the ones that are curved, I still think that those are probably guaranteed drops, and then the rest of them are just randomized. But I don't know that for certain, and I haven't played it enough times to really test whether or not that's true for all of them. So I went ahead and played it safe, and I'm not using any other bone charms. So if you pick up good ones and you want to use them, then that is your choice, and it'll make things a little bit easier for you, and hopefully go even more smoothly than it goes for me. So that is that. And I chose to take no reward from her because I have so much money, it's not even a joke. So I don't know. I decided to be nice. Anyway, we're going to continue forward with the main objective.
They'll burn away every trace of witchcraft from this place.
Which is to go and look at this book. And then that kind of pushes your quest marker forward. And then we want to get around here and move behind this wall and get around behind this guy. And I'm gonna kill him. And so that right there, that animation, that's what should happen when you get behind somebody and hit your right trigger. It should just assassinate them if you have the prompt on. But I found that sometimes it would just hit them. And I guess it was in one specific place where I really noticed it happening. But then after that I was like, we're going to play it safe and we're going to knock out most people and then kill them. Because I think that's the safe way to go, and you won't have to reload a bunch of times if you run into a spot like the one that I'm going to show you here soon. But you should be able to just go up behind people and hit RT and kill them. And so if you want to do that, then feel free, but if you're having trouble, just knock them out like I do for the rest of this level. So up here is the black market. We're going to pick up the contracts from the contract wall, and I'll show you the gear and stuff that you can buy. So there are several things that you can purchase if you want to, and I would suggest actually you purchase a couple of these things, a couple of hook mines and a couple of spring razors. There's going to be a section near the end of this level where there's a room full of these ladies, and it's very, very difficult to get them all without getting spotted if you don't have some of those types of weapons, so that you can lay traps and toss grenades and stuff like that. So there's also that smuggler's passageway thing. You're not going to need that because I'm going to show you where that is, but that is that's what that little slip of paper was. So yeah, I bought a couple of hook mines, and I bought a couple of grenades, and a couple of spring razors. And you should definitely have enough money at this point, after having done all of the contracts and everything, to be able to do that. We're going to pick up the contracts here. There are 3 of them on this level, and one of them is probably the most annoying one in the game, and that's the one that I mentioned before, where you need to kill everyone. And then the other 2 are quite simple. So you pick those up. So we have Alvaro and the Abbey, Pilfer the Prophecies, and a Risky Wager, I think it was called. And so we're going to do the Risky Wager first, because that one is outside of the main area. It's in this building over here. And there are a bunch of traps in this room. You need to get to that balcony straight across. And you just really want to be careful. So displace up onto this railing and make sure that you disarm any of these tripwires that you see in front of you. So there's going to be several of them kind of in our immediate path. And then once you've cleared out a few of these ones downstairs, what you can do is displace up onto the balcony and then quickly step back off of it, because you'll hit these tripwires that are up there and trigger them. But if you move and kind of just fall back down, you should be okay. You should be out of the range of the explosives. So you see that that goes off, and now we can displace back up here. There should be a few more tripwires to deal with, so you still want to be pretty careful. And then open the safe. And then once you take the strange relic from the safe, that is a Risky Wager complete. So that's 1/3 of our contracts for this level done. And then there's other stuff that you can pick up in this apartment, but I didn't pick up too much else. I think I grabbed a couple of those little blood fly husks that were on the ground, but I'd recommend, if you really don't need money, to just get out of there, because there's a lot of traps still around that apartment. So just be careful when you're in there, and you should get out alive. And like I said, if you don't need money, then there's really no reason to loot anymore in that area. So now I'm going to get up onto the piping up here and use that to get into the main area. This is the same level that you played in Dishonored 2, if you've played Dishonored 2. It's one of the levels. But the layout is a little bit different. There are some doors and windows and things that are closed on this one that were not closed on the other one. They have areas blocked off, things that are locked, etc., etc. And so I think it's just different enough for me to make it interesting, because it is the exact same level, but they've added enough that is different to it to make it, I think, a viable level for this one. So I can see where people might be upset that you get the same level. One of the 5 levels is the same as as one of the ones in Dishonored 2. But for me, it was okay. You know? This was a half price, or I guess 2/3 of the price game. Was it $30 or $40? I don't remember. Anyway, for the price, I think you get plenty of content and replay value on this game. So that guy right there on the stairs is the one that kept giving me problems when I was trying to just assassinate him. And so that is the point where I start knocking people out instead of just killing them. It could have been because I was on the stairs and it wasn't, you know, a level surface. That could have been the reason why it just didn't want to do the assassination on him. But I mean, I retried it like 10 times and it just didn't like to do it. And so I said the most consistent thing is going to be to knock people out and then kill them. But when you're doing that, you really want to keep track of who you're knocking out, how many people you've knocked out, and make sure you kill them all. Like I just did to those two guys. Make sure you go and you slash them with your sword before you move on to the next section, because if you leave someone still knocked out on this level, it is going to be a gigantic pain to try to go back and find where they are to try to kill them at the end to get your contract done. And so you really want to be careful of that and make sure that you are systematically going through and killing everybody in each area before you move on to the next one. Because like I said, going back and trying to find the one person that you missed is not fun. So these two guys are going to talk, and then they're going to walk over to the right, and you'll be able to grab both of them. You just want to be aware of those two guys. I don't believe that their paths move in such a way as they'll see you, except for when that one that's patrolling around the bottom comes up to use the bathroom. So as soon as they move over to the right, you can grab this guy. You want to kind of drag him back a little bit to keep him out of his buddy's periphery. And then you can get around behind this guy. And again, make sure that you actually kill them. So there you go, that's those two guys down. And now there are just two more on the outside here, and then that's the entire outer section of guards taken care of, which is very cool. And so these guys are a little bit more difficult, I guess, because there's not a huge window in which to grab them. The guy who is on the left right now, who's kind of walking forward, he will walk up to use the bathroom on the side of the wall. And that is the moment when you strike. So it does take some waiting. Again, doing these things in full stealth does take a little bit of patience, because you really do need to just wait for people to get on a good path. And I was toying around with potentially displacing around behind them and trying to get the one that's on the right first the next time the guy on the left walked up. But as it turned out, he was on his pattern where he goes to pee on the side of the wall, and so don't need to use that plan. Public urination is bad, buddy. It'll get you killed. Okay. And so the last guy that we have to deal with is this one right here. And you want to be careful of him. He'll turn around and it'll look like he's going to be looking off to the right, but he'll immediately turn back around. And so you want to be really careful of that and not get too eager with your displace. So you see he walks that way and it looks like he's going to look over that balcony there, but he immediately turns back around. So that is a very, very short window of time to be able to grab him. So I suggest waiting until he walks back to where he is right now, displacing behind him and grabbing him while he's looking this way. So there you go. And so he is the final guard or overseer on the outside of this conservatory. And so now in this box, there's a bunch of manuscripts and stuff with some kind of nifty lore. Well, I guess there's one manuscript. And then there are others, you know, peppered about, scattered around. Things that kind of let you know what happened in the conservatory in between Dishonored 2 and Dishonored Death of the Outsider, which is kind of neat, I think. So I'm going to show you the little secret passageway here. I'm not sure why I'm sneaking. There you go. Good job, Dormouse. So the secret passageway is down here. And what you want to do is crouch under here, bust out those planks of wood, and then jump up. And then there are a couple of nice things to pick up here. There's a hook mine and a grenade and a hyperbaric grenade, so that's going to give you some more of those traps and things to play with, which is very, very nice. So there you go. And then you're going to be able to bust out these planks of wood. And nobody should hear you bust this wood out. They shouldn't be able to hear that. But there are some guys up there, so just be careful. Be aware that there might be someone who might hear that you might have to wait until they move to get out of here. But I'm 99% sure that nobody should hear that. And then we're just going to be able to go through this hatch up into the conservatory. And then we're going to be systematically taking out guards along the way. So here's the deal, guys. I'm doing this entire thing with no detections. And so this mission is roughly going to take me about an hour and 15 minutes. And if you just went in here and kind of went guns blazing and killed everybody, you could probably get this level done in about 15-20 minutes, you know? And so it just depends on what you want to do. That's one reason why I really, really suggest that since you're going to have to be doing 2 playthroughs anyway, that you do your shadow playthrough on the second one. Because you're going to be doing much less of the level. You wouldn't even have to go this way, honestly, if you're doing it then, because you just kind of run in here on this playthrough, kill all of these guys really quickly, really simple, because we're on easy, and it just won't take you the time that it takes me to do all of this nonsense. Because on the second playthrough, you're not going to have to worry about these contracts. And so you don't have to worry about knocking out all these people. You don't have to worry about killing all these people. You don't have to worry about doing any of the contracts at all. And so you're just moving from point A to point B, boom, 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 of the main quests. And so that makes a huge difference in terms of time and difficulty for your shadow achievement or trophy. But that being said, you know, there are folks who may not want to do that second playthrough. There are folks who may want to get as many of the achievements or trophies as they can on one playthrough and then call it done. And, you know, and maybe, and you have different abilities on that second playthrough as well. And so if someone is trying to do their shadow playthrough on the regular new game, you're going to have these powers. But if you're doing it on the original Game Plus, you have different powers. And that makes things just a little bit different. And so, you know, that's the reason why I wanted to do it with no detections on both of them. Because it just helps the most people out. Because let's say you're on this mission, right? You're on mission 4, and you're like, okay, how am I going to do this without getting detected? And you look up this guide, right? This has got you covered. Whereas if I had just gone in here and killed everybody, it would have been a lot faster, and it would have been what I'm recommending to you to do. But it would have also not helped that person who came here for help. So, I don't know, just explaining why it was that I chose to structure my guide this way and to do this how I have done it. But my recommendation to you guys is to not do what I'm doing right now. Don't worry about being super stealthy. Just go in here and kill all these people and do shadow on your second playthrough. But it is kind of satisfying to get through all of this stuff without getting detected. I won't lie. That is really actually kind of cool. And so, you know, it's a nice little additional challenge, and I do like playing this game stealthy because I think the stealth on these games is fantastic. And so I enjoy doing it. But if you don't enjoy doing it, then just know you don't have to do it on this one. So here we are. We've got 3 more, and these are the last 3 overseers that are on this basement level. And these guys are on sort of a weird... These guys are on kind of a tricky pattern to be able to knock out, because a lot of the time they're going to be situated so that one of them can see the others, or, you know, one of them's back is to you but the other 2 can probably see you, and so it's kind of tricky. You just want to wait for them to get separated. And so that guy walks over to the right, and now is an excellent time for you to go murder him. But I waited slightly too long, and so we now have the other guy who's over there, and so now I'm going to have to wait for them to do another rotation in order to get him. But that is kind of the pattern that you're looking for. You want them to be separated and for them all to be kind of turned in different directions. So like I said, guys, this is about patience. If you were aggressive, so if I was a little bit more aggressive there and was like, ooh, there's an opening, I can go get him, that would have worked in that instance. But sometimes when you play more aggressively like that, especially if you're trying to knock people out and or kill them and not just move past them, playing a little bit more aggressively can get you into some situations where they turn around when you didn't expect them to, or, you know, somebody can see you and you didn't know that they could, etc. So I don't know. I advise patience on a lot of these situations. So this guy I'm going to stuff in this corner right here to keep his body hidden. And then I'm going to get back up to my little ledge of safety up here. And then I'm going to grab this other guy as soon as he goes over there and turns around. And then the third guy, I'm not sure. I think the third guy doesn't really move from the spot where he's standing. He's kind of looking at some stuff and going over some paperwork. And I don't really think he moves unless people get alerted. So once you take care of the two on the right, they're on my left now, but they're on the right of the room when you enter it, then you should be safe to take out that third guy. Which is pretty cool. Make sure you go and kill them all before you leave the area. And there are some things to pick up. This chair right here is the chair that you're going to leave Brother Alvaro in at the end of the level. So just remember that, and remember that you're going to have to bring him back down here. But at that point, everybody else in the entire building should be dead. So it should be really easy, and that's why I think this is such a really good path. It should be easy for you to bring him back down here because there should be nobody left alive at that point if you've done everything correctly. So this next section has, I think, about 3, 4, 5 guards. 6 guards, I believe. And so you've got one there. There are 2 up here. There's one over to the left, one over to the right, and one who is sleeping in a bed to our left. So this guy right here is your first hit. So he should be easy enough to take out. And then the guy in the bed over here, you can just stab. So that's 2. There's going to be one guy looking at these spring razor traps over here. And so that's a 3rd one. And then the guy over on the right is usually standing still. The only ones I think that really patrol in this area are the 3 that are in the middle. So the first guy that we took out, he patrols. And then the last 2 that I'm going to take out, they patrol. But these other guys, the guy who's sleeping in the bed obviously doesn't move unless he gets alerted. And the 2 that we just took out on either side, I don't believe that they really move either. These 2 are the worst in terms of trying to get them knocked out without the other one seeing. So you just want to really be cautious of the line of sight of this guy right here, because he'll turn around and move. So you just want to make sure that they are on a good pattern and then take them out. And usually the good pattern is when that first guy walks toward the exit doors. And I'm pretty sure that the people that are through those doors probably can't hear you if you're killing these people in here. But, better safe than restarting a checkpoint, right? So that's why when you see me move bodies, usually that's because I am just making sure that I'm going to be killing them in an area where the other people are not going to hear me swing my sword. And again, you just want to kind of systematically go through and make sure that you've killed everybody before you move on from this level. This room. There are several little goodies around in here that you can pick up, which is cool because this level is the last opportunity that you will have to purchase things from the black market. And so any of the upgrades that you want to buy, any of the items that you want to buy from the black market, you need to go ahead and buy them at the end of this level because it will not be available after that. As I have mentioned, there's another grenade. As I have mentioned in the previous videos, I only purchased the 3 upgrades to improve stealth. So the silent running, the silent sprint, and the concealment finish. Those are the 3 upgrades that I purchased and really, really recommend that you purchase as well if you're going for stealth on this game. You can feel free to buy any or all of the other upgrades if you want to. But those were the 3 that I considered kind of more essential for folks who are trying to get Shadow. Now, they're absolutely not required, but they're going to make things just a little bit easier for you. If you hit that glass with your sword, it will explode and kill you. But if you shoot it with your voltaic shot, you can grab the spring razors from the case, which is pretty nifty and gives you another couple of spring razors. And so if you didn't have enough money to purchase the hook mines and spring razors and grenades and stuff that I showed you, I don't think I use any more of those items than I picked up on the way into this level. And so if you pick up the things that I picked up in the little sewer passage and then from that room right there, you should have enough items to kill the ladies in their room once we get to the top. So that's good to know. These 3 guys in here, the reason why I closed the door is that if the guy who is walking past right now sees that the door is open, he'll kind of pause for a second and go, why is this door open? Maybe it was the wind. And he'll get off of his pattern, and that will make it so that it's harder to do what I'm doing right now. You want them both to be standing here turned away from you, and you go and you kill that guy, and then you move up and you kill this guy. And so if they get off pattern, then you're going to have to wait a little bit more for them to get into position like they were for me. And then there's one more guy who's patrolling around in a circuit out here around the turtle statue, and he should be easy to take out as soon as he moves from the position where he's standing, because he's going to walk over to our left. And you're just going to get behind him and kill him. Or knock him out. And then kill him. I would love to know what other people's experience is of the assassination in this game. Whether, if it's because I was on the stairs, or if you're on kind of uneven ground and that's what makes it so that the right trigger prompt doesn't work the way that it should sometimes, or if that's just a weird / bad design in the game, that it will just sometimes do that randomly. So let me know what your guys' experience is with the assassination move, because like I said, I had a difficult time with it on that one guy, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna knock everybody out and then kill them because that's safer. But I'd love to know what other people's experience of it is. So we're now up on the second level, I guess. It depends on how you count these levels. So the first level that we were on was like the basement level, and then there was the ground floor or first floor, and then this is the second floor, or I guess some people would consider it the first floor if it's going like basement, ground, first floor, or basement, first, second, you know. I think different countries are different in their nomenclature, I guess, or in their floor assignments. In any case, we're on the third floor that we are clearing out. Whether you want to call it second floor, whether you want to call it first floor, it's the third level of the building that we are clearing of enemies. So there should be a couple of guys right here. This guy is doing some mad science. And there's a bone charm over here. And this raw whalebone you can use to craft your own bone charms. It's a pretty neat little thing. I'm not going to mess with it on this guide because I'm not going to be using bone charms. So it's not necessary, but what you can do is you can break down some of the bone charms that you have and then create new ones with the specific abilities that you want, which is pretty neat. So you can kind of create some uber bone charms so that you can have a bunch more of the positive effects that you want, or have ones with none of the negative effects on there, that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. And so the only other enemies on this level are one overseer around behind us that we have marked, and then two. I forget what they're called. I don't think they're called sisters, but they might be. The ladies. But once again, you just want to go through here and make sure that any of these guys who you have knocked out, you go back and you make sure that you murder them. Because otherwise you're going to be a sad camper when you get to the end and you put the guy in the chair and your achievement or trophy doesn't pop and you're like, oh my gosh, I left someone knocked out somewhere. Why? And you're trying to find them and you're running around here listening for snoring, and trust me, you don't want that. So you'll notice that sometimes I'll go and I'll check a body again and it's dead already. I've killed them. But the reason why I do that is for that exact reason. I don't want to be going back through the level trying to find a body that I missed. So if you look up here on that picture, there's a key. And you can use that key to open this door and get in this room. And there's a bone charm in here. And you can also get up from here into the final area. But in order to do that, you make noise because you have to break through this little glass greenhouse top looking thing. And so I would recommend not doing that. But it is kind of interesting that you can make it all the way to the end. And if you're not caring about getting spotted and whatnot, that's a nice little shortcut there. So now I'm going to mark, yeah, they are called sisters, oracular sisters. So there are 2 of them in that room. And then our other overseer over on the right. And so these ladies are going to talk. And for blind ladies, they have pretty good awareness. And so you just want to wait for a moment when they are either separated and looking different ways or turned around. So like you could move right now if you wanted to, but I'm going to wait for just another second. And I would also recommend you save because this room can be a little bit tricky. And so they're going to move now, and they're going to be facing away from one another. And so I used that opportunity to go in and take out the one that's farther back, and then take out the other. So I grab her, and then grab her. And now we're just going to deal with Scruffy over here. And then you can move freely throughout this floor of the building, which is pretty cool. I showed a key earlier down on the floor below this. I picked up from the little guard post right after I went through the double doors downstairs. And there was this key to this door right here that you can use to go in. And then there are a couple of little valuables that you can pick up in here. And a bone charm, I believe. Yep. Bone charm. And so that's how you get inside that door, which is pretty cool. Once again, you just want to make sure that you kill everybody. So I killed that guy. I'm making sure that all of these other people are dead. And I could hear somebody talking, and it's those guys up there. So if you can hear people talking and moving around and whatnot, it's probably the guys upstairs. But like I said, it does not hurt to double check if you are not 100% sure that you killed someone. Be 100% sure that you killed them. This is the 3rd time I checked this guy. Be sure that you killed them before you move on. And so now we just need to kill these 2 sisters in here. And then there is an achievement or trophy in this room. So this was the room where the witches had their little ritual thing to contact spirits beyond the void and stuff. And so in Dishonored 2. And so now it's filled with all of this, like these voices, but you can't, they've got these little smoke things so that you can't hear them. So you have to knock down all 4 of them and then you can hear the witches talking, and you get the achievement or trophy called Voices. Broke 4 Oraculum censers and listened to the voices. So that is pretty cool. And they say some interesting stuff because they kind of comment on you, and then they comment on things from other aspects of the game, which is pretty neat.
Victim of her own restless hands. She should be burned in the street with the rest of the filth.
And so now we're going to head upstairs, and this is the last full level of people to kill. The very top level only has the one kind of big room with all of the sisters in it. So we have this one by the elevator, and now she's dead. And then if you get up on top of the elevator, you'll see that there was this thief who was trying to pilfer the prophecies. They had picked up this contract too, but they obviously failed. And so they were very, very close, though, because they had the prophecies in hand and dropped them as they were killed. So you pick up the prophecies from the book under there, and that completes that contract. So that's contract number 2 done on this level. And we're going to continue systematically murdering everybody in this level. So there are a couple of more sisters who are walking around. This one right here will move to the right. And when she does, you can take off behind her and grab her. There's also a tricky little section on this particular floor where there are these 3 guys in a classroom. That part was fairly irritating. So I'm just using my foresight. I'm looking throughout the level. I'm making sure that I know where everybody is. And so there's that classroom with the 3 people. And then there should be one other guard either in that room or walking around outside. And he's walking around outside. So I'm going to go and take out this sister first. I'm going to move her because there are people in that room to my right. And so you just don't want to risk alerting them or having them see the body or anything like that. And now I'd say this is probably one of the trickier sequences here. So these 3 guys are sitting down. And then there's this guy who's walking around up here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the guy who is up here. I would recommend knocking him out because you can also use semblance on him to take his face and use that to get into this room instead of having to use displace. You can just walk in, but you don't have to do that as I'm showing you right here. So you wait for the one guy to move, which he did, and then as soon as he moves, you want to start getting behind these guys and knocking them out. Because he will start moving back again pretty quickly. And so you just want to make sure that as soon as that guy stands up and moves up there toward the front of the classroom, you start taking out these 3 dudes. And that is how you handle that little room. That guy right there, I believe I left him alive for the moment because I was thinking just in case I needed somebody else to use semblance on, I'd have him. But you don't need to do that. Because you'll have plenty of people to do that with in this next area here. So there's this sister, and then there's the second one who has walked upstairs to talk to Brother Cardoza. And so she's up there talking to him. It's also possible that you could get it on a pattern where she's down here talking to this lady and then she moves upstairs. You just want to wait for her to move and then take out that sister. And then when you get to about right here on these stairs, you'll hear the sister talking to Brother Cardoza. And you just want to wait for them to finish talking. She's going to walk over here to the right, and you want to get around behind her and take her out. And then you want to go back behind him and knock him out. Now, this is the guy that you do not want to kill, so do not kill this guy. And that's for a couple of reasons. Because the first reason is that we need to use semblance on him in order to get another achievement or trophy. And the second reason is that to complete the contract, he needs to be alive, and he's the guy that you want to put in the chair downstairs. So you use semblance on him. Also making some saves. This section coming up can be quite tricky, so I would recommend making some safety saves just in case. And check your stats. So as you can see, there were 0 being spotted by enemies, which is what you want. And now I'm going to use semblance on him. And you go up and talk to Sister Rosewind? And she'll think that you're Brother Cardoza, and she's going to just give you the item that you want for the mission that you're doing. And so doing this completes 2 achievements or trophies. One for talking to Sister Rosewind as Brother Cardoza, and the other for getting the stolen archive. So here we go. Both of those should click into place. Gnosis is recovering the stolen archive, so that's the story related achievement or trophy. And then the face of the Abbey is the one that you get for attending the meeting as Brother Cardoza. So here we go. There will be one sister who is at the back of this area. And so I would recommend taking out her first, because then everybody on the level is going to be in front of you. And that's kind of what you want in order to bait them into traps and things. So we're going to take her out. And then I would recommend you laying down some traps along this hallway right here. So I'm going to put down some spring razors and some hook mines so that when these sisters come and try to figure out who is causing havoc, they will run into my traps. And so there are quite a few of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 or 7 of these sisters in here. And so like I said, laying down some traps. And kind of laying down your traps so that they don't seven. There are 7, it looks like. Laying down your traps so that they don't immediately start killing people is good. So I'm going to use my voltaic shot to kill that first lady. And then I'm going to move back. And so you'll notice I only put down 1 hook mine. The reason for that is because if an enemy comes, if you've laid them down too close together, they can set each other off, and then you'll end up having to use more of them than you really wanted to in order to take these people out. And so they haven't seen me yet. They don't know where I am. Well, they're not going to see me at all, but they haven't seen me. They don't know where I am. And so you can then just kind of wait, take people out as they walk past your traps, and just keep putting new ones down. And now that lady almost saw me just then, so be careful as you're putting these traps down. But this is roughly how you want to do this thing. So they're gonna move over to the right there. They're gonna step on my traps. They're gonna kind of patrol. I'm gonna try to use foresight and have it fall through the ceiling. So it looks like we have 3. Yeah, it looks like we have 3 left. You can also upgrade your spring razors so that they go off twice, which would be super helpful in this situation. So I didn't want to buy too many of the upgrades because I wanted to show you guys a way to do it if you don't have them. But if you can purchase that, that's a good one to purchase because it'll help you out here. So there's that lady taken out.
Every day we find more blasphemies to burn.
We're going to peek out and shoot that one in the face. And then there should be 1 left. And it looks like she's downstairs. She's moved all the way downstairs. And so we're going to get around behind her and take her out. And that is the last enemy. So that should be everybody. And now you just want to make sure that you go around and kill any of these people who you left alive. And so the reason why I left a few of them alive without killing them was because you can use semblance on a few of them to kind of be able to move through that area, and I just kind of left that as a backup plan. But as it turns out, I think using the traps is effective all on its own. And so you don't need to worry about leaving people alive to use semblance on them. You can just lay down your traps and you're sort of good to go. So run through here, make sure that everybody is dead. And we're going to be finishing up this level here. There's some hyperbaric grenades right there that you can pick up. Those grenades I don't use on this playthrough because they're for knocking people out. And I found the range on them to be a little bit wonky. But they are, if you wanted to do a non-lethal playthrough, they are a nice way of taking out people who are kind of standing close together, and if there's not a good way to knock them out with other means, those hyperbaric grenades can be cool. And so if you remember, there's one other guy that I left alive, and so I'm going to make sure that I go and kill him. And then I'm going to carry Brother Cardoza downstairs and place him in the torture chair.
This is what I needed.
But first, I'm going to put the silvergraph in the projector and finish up the main quest on this level. So that gives you the clue that you need in order to finish the mission and find the location that you're going to be going to in mission 5, which is pretty cool. You take the silvergraph back out of the projector, and then that is effectively everything that you need to do for the main quest done. And so, looking at your stats, I have killed 53 total people on this level, and that's kind of where you want your stat to be. That's exactly where you want your stat to be once you get to the point where I am in the playthrough. And so we make sure that everybody else is dead. We pick up Brother Cardoza and make sure that he's not dead. And then I'm just going to carry him downstairs. Check the bodies on the way, make sure that they're dead. I heard him snore and I got paranoid that it might have been her. And so I checked her. And so you're going to take him all the way down to the bottom. I could see that guy was cut in half, so no worries there. And you just place him in the chair. And if you have killed all of the other enemies on the level, you should get your achievement or trophy. Mercenary Work, for completing all contracts. As soon as you put him in the chair, it should complete that last contract. And so this is optional, you don't have to do this, but you should have probably looted the key to this person's cell off of one of the guards' bodies, and you can set her free if you want to. It's no big deal, you don't have to do this, but I did just for the sake of showing you something else that's in the level. So she also, if you're curious how I knew that that key upstairs was on the top of one of the paintings, she tells you. So if you let her out, that's what she just told you right there, where to find that key. And so now all you gotta do is get out of here. All the contracts are done. Don't shut the door, lady. I'm trying to leave too. All the contracts are done. All the people are dead. And the only thing left to possibly do on this level is to go visit the black market. And so, like I said, this is your last chance to visit the black market on this level. And on the next level, you may want to have your items stocked up, because we're going to be killing one of those envisioned people, and they can be kind of tough. And so making sure that you're full on your hook mines and spring razors and grenades and everything like that. I think I'm gonna have 2 of each.
It's all yours. Enjoy. Nice doing business with you.
Actually, I'm just gonna buy them all. So make sure you're full on at least the spring razors and the hook mines, because those are your like stealthy options for taking out the envisioned. You can also buy these bone charms if you want to. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing that. You can also buy any of these upgrades that you want to. Here you can see the 3 that I have purchased. Or actually the 4 that I've purchased. I totally lied to you guys. The 4th one is to be able to pick up extra items and use them as voltaic shot ammunition. And that was purchased specifically for a
peaceful old age of brandy and cigars.
An achievement that we got back in mission number 2. So you can also pick up any of these other things that you so desire.
Come back next time you need something.
And that's this level. So pick up anything that you really, really want to. And otherwise, we're going to be ending this mission. So mission 5 is pretty quick. This one was fairly lengthy just because there were all those people that you needed to kill, and I was trying to be stealthy with it. Well, I succeeded in being stealthy with it. And so that's why this one was a little bit longer. It's actually not a long level without doing that. Right here I'm showing you that you can jump and place your displace marker on top of that thing and just get up here. And once you touch the suitcase, you'll have ended the level. So like I said, kind of a long one, but that is okay. 53 hostiles is the total that you're looking to kill. And you should get your stealth marker if you followed all of those paths. You should have completed all the contracts. And that is mission 4 done. So thank you for watching. I hope that this was helpful to you guys. And I will see you in mission 5.